Movements, October the 17th, 2016. Bring you warnings and watches for weather in the United States of America, Atlantic Ocean, Pacific Ocean, and up to date around the world. So let's get started. First off, we had a CME earlier last week that hit Earth. The advisory will be up for storms be growing from the CME today at midnight. Also, we had a supermoon last night and the night before, so warnings and watches for moderate to strong hurricanes since it's pulling at our crust till October 21st, 2016. Also, warnings and watches because of the space weather. We had solar wind from a coronal hole entering Earth's atmosphere since the 15th, and it's still entering, so all the storms on Earth will increase in size and keep on increasing in size. So from the CME letting up, now we got still solar winds, possibly up to the 19, 20, even the 21st. So warnings and watches for moderate to major earthquakes and storms increasing in size and energy. We're going to start off like we always do with the Atlantic Ocean. There's no tropical storm yet formed in the Atlantic Ocean, but I am keeping my eye on two systems. The wave that just came off Africa between 10 north and 20 north. Right there, 15 north and 10 north, you can see it. Between 30 west and 20 west. Keep an eye on that for the next couple days as it's in the perfect spot and might increase into Tropical Otto. Also, warnings and watches between Venezuela and the Dominican Republic for Tropical Storm Otto 2. This thing right here at 15 north at 70 west, bam, right there, could develop into a tropical storm or a hurricane. Well, I gotta go through a tropical storm, then become a hurricane, but that thing could develop into a tropical storm. Warnings and watches up here, 70 west to 60 west. Strong system going off Dominican Republic. It's going to keep going out to the Atlantic Ocean. Nothing to worry about that. And we also got specters of storms all around the Southern Caribbean Sea. All right. Now let's get into cast current. All right. I'm going to put warnings and watches for still last week starting overnight on Thursday. There was another tropical depression that started hitting Washington. It wasn't a tropical storm, nothing like that, but it carried hurricane winds, a lot of flooding, and it's still going to occur with strong winds, floodings, major storms, possible tornadoes through the northwest till the 18th, 19th, as there is another system in the Pacific Ocean coming abroad, going to bring strong winds. Right now, there's strong winds still in the eastern part from central Washington to the eastern part around the Seattle region. Same with Oregon. Now let's look at this stuff, folks. There is a Haarp ring right off the coast of Washington State and northwest Oregon. So warnings and watches still for strong systems, storms for next 24 to 78 hours, but it's going to go past it because there's going to be system after system. There's a lot of tension out there in the Pacific Ocean, and also from the space weather, from the solar winds, going to keep increasing these storms. Same with Oregon. Also, these Haarp rings, I put warnings and watches for in my other video for moderate to major earthquake all on the west coast of the United States of America. There's also a Haarp ring off the coast of Northern California and Southern California. As we move over in Utah, around the Utah, the lakes and stuff in Utah and Nevada, you can see Haarp rings, so warnings and watches for moderate to severe storm next 24 to 72 hours. Right on the borderline in Colorado and Utah, warnings and watches for moderate to severe storms next 24 to 72 hours. Montana, you can see a lot of systems. We also got in South Dakota another Haarp ring, warnings and watches. Wisconsin, yeah, warnings and watches for moderate to severe storms in Wisconsin. So I want everyone out there to be prepared. You also got the eye in Minnesota. So everyone out there be prepared for moderate to major storms from this system. Now we look at the whole country, and we're about to look at the whole country. Warnings and watches for this is a severe system, folks. Look how big it is. It's from the west coast all the way to the central plains. I don't care where you live. I want everyone out there to be prepared. This is a system that's strong. It got strong winds, flooding associated with the lightnings. And later on this week, we might see tornadoes down in the south. Warnings and watches for moderate to major storms down in Louisiana, around New Orleans, Mississippi. Warnings and watches, folks. Alright, I want everyone out there to be prepared. Alright. Warnings and watches. You got another Haarp right in central Florida. You can see it right here. Moderate to major storm warning for the east coast and west coast of Florida and the central region for next 24-72 hours. As we move to the north in Canada, you can see the strong system pushing up into Quebec. Ontario, warnings and watches for moderate to severe storms next 24 to 72 hours in the northeast. Around Massachusetts, Delaware, Connecticut, Vermont, Maine, and upstate New York. Alright. But later on this week, this system in the next 2 days is going to make it through Wisconsin. It's going to make it through Illinois, Michigan. So warnings and watches for the Midwest in 48 to 72 hours for starting strong storms. It's going to be raining, but nothing major. But this system here, I got warnings and watches for flood, tornadoes, all that in the central plains in the northwest of the United States of America, and around Louisiana, Mississippi. I want people down there to be prepared. Florida, warnings and watches for the northeast. I'm going to stay up to date and give you guys if anything breaks out in the next couple of days. Now we got two typhoons in the western Pacific that are strong in the South Chinese Sea. One's about to make landfall in China. So warnings and watches for the South China and the South Chinese Seas. Warnings and watches for the Filipino region. The Philippines, Taiwan, and the South. You can see these two systems. They're very powerful. And as we scroll over to the northwest, you can see the winds. Alright, folks. Right now, there ain't strong winds. Not that strong, but definitely you can see the strong winds in Washington, Wyoming. Alright, the Four Corner region, the Central Plains, and all that hot moisture air is getting carried up from the Gulf into Wisconsin, Illinois, and Michigan, Ohio, Indiana. So that's why I say warnings and watches 48 hours from now, starting in the Midwest, and definitely warnings and watches for next 24 right now to 72 hours in the Northeast. This is the no face movement. We also got Haarp rings that I gotta show you guys. As we watch the Mimic Mac, the whole Mimic Mac is shocked by Haarp. So that's why I put warnings and watches out here between Africa, between 10 north and 20 north. Alright, you can see bam, Haarp ring. So warnings and watches for that system. Keep updated on that system that I said might become auto. You see Haarp rings because the whole map out here in the Atlantic Ocean. You can see Haarp rings. The whole map stopped at one point earlier. So they updated it, but there's Haarp rings. There's microwaves that you can see they're shooting all around. And I'm going to put warnings and watches for moderate to major storms for Spain and Portugal for the next 24 to 72 hours. This system right here just got shocked. Down here in southern, in the southern parts of the hemisphere by Africa. In Africa, you can see another strong. Look at this whole wave. This whole wave. Look at all the microwaves nailing the system. between 20 north. So I want everyone out there, be prepared. Let's go to the west. Alright. See if we see any Haarp rings. Bam. Haarp. So warnings and watches for all the Pacific. Look at that. Bam. The Pacific Ocean got nailed with microwaves. Around Hawaii, out here in the open, warnings and watches definitely for the West Coast. Look at this. It zaps the system. It stops it right in its tracks. The system right here. So that's going to be a strong system when it makes it on shore on the West Coast, folks. That's why I said it's going to be all week strong systems. And down here, check this out. Bam. I got a lot of videos. Like I said, I got warnings and watches for October 24th to the 27th for an asteroid called 2003 TL4. Please like, subscribe, follow me on Twitter, Facebook. This is the No Face Movement. Bring movement to next time. All storms are going to increase till the 21st from the solar winds. Also, the CME warning is on at 12 o'clock tonight from that intention of storms increasing and earthquakes. But we're still in the super moon cycle, so warnings and watches still in effect for earthquakes. And warnings and watches for effect for charge up storms from the solar wind. This is the movement. Movement to next time. Facing off.